What's up YouTube, I'm Galdite74 here, bringing you our Week 9 battle of the IBA. This week we are taking on the Detroit Littens, coached by none other than Poise. He is a awesome streamer. I highly recommend you go check him out. His link will be in the description, as well as all the other coaches in the league below. I cannot speak already. So we're going into this game losing 2 in a row. We are now 5-3, so that kind of sucks. I believe he is 4-4, so we're pretty close in record-wise. I'm feeling pretty confident this week because I did build a good team, I think. But before we get into that, I'm going to go quickly over my team. But big shouts to Aaron for recording this and Nick for joining my team. He is an actual GOAT. I'm finally going to remember to link his YouTube channel in the description below, so I highly recommend you go check him out as well. But anyway, we're going to go over the team. Again, I'm feeling pretty confident with my team this week. First, we got Toxapex, Max Defense, Max, Bold Nature, with Surf, Knockoff, Recover, and Toxic. Just standard Toxapex with knockoff. Next, we got Megalophony that absolutely shreds through his team. Max Attack, Adamant, 108 Speed, 148 HP with Frustration, Drain Punch, Quick Attack, and Power Punch. The only wall on his entire team that can stop this Megalophony is the Jirachi he has, and I was going to go over his team, but his team so happened to close out, which is very annoying. So I'll go over his team when it loads out in a few minutes or seconds, but moving on, we got Skarmory, which is max HP almost, and max special defense, Careful Nature, with Stealth Block, Whirlwind, Roost, and Brave Bird, holding the leftovers. Next, we got Latias with the Life Orb, with Dragon Pulse, Psy Shock, Shadow Ball, and Ice Beam, max special attack, law speed, and a little bit of special defense. This is supposed to cover his entire team. This thing is mainly here just to chip things down. Obviously, again, Megalophony is the main sweeper this week, but if Megalodios can do its job, that would be very important. By the way, I did roll up his team right here. His team consists of Kieran Black, Jirachi, Mega Gardevoir, Landorus I, Sand Force only, Shaman, Rotom Wash, Entei, Slowking, Hitmonchan, Miltank, and Bayonet, with his Z users being Lando I and Entei. So that's just a little quick summary of his team. Next, we got Silvally Steel. We're bringing the Steel version of Silvally with almost max HP, lost speed, and a little bit of special defense, with multi-attack, Parting Shot, Toxic, Thunder Wave. If I'm correct, Thunder Wave was for Kieran Black and the Gardevoir, because that is the main switch-ins for Silvally, or that's what I'm gonna switch in. And like Thunder Wave for like Jirachi, so it's not like Scarf Iron Head, it's being hella annoying. So that's what that's for. And then lastly, we got Choice Scarf Chandelure with Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, Will-O-Wisp, and Trick, with a lot of like HP on 140 HP I have on this thing. So the EV is a little bit all over the place, and it's a modest nature too, so it's gonna be hitting kind of hard. So that is the team. Again, Megalophony's here. I have to be careful. I have to find out what his Scarf users are, because his speed tiers aren't really the greatest. So he tends to run like 2 Scarves on his team. So I have to find out who they are before I just recklessly use Megalophony. And Hitmonchan can learn Mach Punch. I know he does like to bring the Hitmonchan, so there is that. And lastly, as you can see on the layout, there's no layout this week because the little sprites on the side, the website I get it off of, was not loading them. So when we get into the battle, it's going to be full screen, which is pretty nice, and I'll just have the logos on the top left and the bottom right. So let's finally get into this. So here we are with the battle. As you can see, he did bring the Hitmonchan, so I do have to be a little more extra cautious with this Megalophony. However, he did not bring the Jirachi or the Slowking, which, mind you, that really would have hurt my team if he brought the Slowking or Jirachi, at least the defensive version of Jirachi, because he could really tank hits with it. So I know my Megalophony can do a lot of work. However, I don't want to lead with it if he does lead off with something like this. I did lead Chandelure because I did think it could do damage to like Gardevoir, but how to switch out now. I do go into Latias. This is a different Latias this week because he has an Entei. He names it I Had a Movie, so I was joking around, and since Latias and Latias got a movie, I decided to nickname it this. So good laughs. I'm glad I switched out because I thought he would go for Volt Switch, but he did go for Hydro Pump, so it was worth the switching. He does go to Gardevoir to probably take the Dragon move. I almost clicked Shadow Ball here, but knowing that Rotom could take the Psy Shock or the Psychic, thinking he could stay in, I decided just to go for Psy Shock. As you can see, it actually does a decent amount of damage, a little more than a fourth, so I'm pretty happy with the damage nonetheless. And now with this damage that I have, Megalophony can actually pick this off unless it's max HP, which is possible, so I'm not just gonna, I can't just switch into Megalophony and a Mega Gardevoir, that's wild. Anyway, he is going to Mega Evolve. Obviously, I have to switch out because don't want to take a Hyper Voice to the face. My only switch into this Mega Gardevoir is Silvally Steel, as you see right here in front as I switch in Silvally Steel. And the Hyper Voice does a decent chunk of damage, but we can tank those. Now I have an option here to go for T-Wave or the multi-attack. Considering this is my only switch-in, and if I let Sylvella go down this early in the game, Mega Gardevoir gets the run house of my team, so I have to go for the multi-attack and try to knock it out, as he does go in the Rotom Wash and make the smart play. So props to him. If I go for T-Wave, it would have been non-effective, and it would have been a really pointless turn. Even though it was essentially a pointless turn in the end. Here I go for the parting shot, assuming that he doesn't have a crazy amount of speed, because I have a lot of speed in this Valley. So I can lower his stuff, and I can just go right back on the Latias, because Latias is also my only switch into those Rotom Wash, so it's pretty annoying to deal with. But it's a good switch in, because like Will-O-Wisp ain't going to do a crazy amount of damage to me. It's just burn damage, and Volt Switch ain't going to do much. Hydro Pump's not going to do much. I don't think he's going to be running a Dark Pulse, so that'd be wild. So here I'm thinking, he switched into Mega Gardevoir last time like that. I think he might go for it again. And, you know, this time, of course, he stays in. I go for the Shadow Ball, and it's not going to do it that much. I do get the special defense drops, which does kind of suck. However, he's just going to fire off Hydro Pump, so I'm just like, okay. He wants to weaken this Latias down to the point where it can just be revenged, which is, you know, that's a smart idea, because Latias can be a big threat to teams if it's used correctly. I like to use Latias to chip teams down like I'm doing in this game. That's my way of using Latias, so there's that. Here, I decide I'm just going to go for the Psyshock, as he makes the ballsiest play on the Man of the Earth, and he goes in the Kyurem Flag on a Latias. If I would have clicked like Dragon Pulse there, that would have been nuts. But I didn't, and I'm going for Psyshock, which is still going to do like a decent amount of damage to this thing. It does like a little less than half. Now here, I have a decision to either stay in and knock this out if it's not Scarfed, or find out if it's Scarfed. And I decide, you know, I'm just going to stay in and see if it's Scarfed, and, you know, it's Scarfed. So that's one Scarfer down, if he even has two, but he definitely has this Scarf. So now I can come in with Mega Lopunny. Now you're questioning, he's Scarfed, he's going to outspeed me. Yeah, you're right, but I did calc it, and he cannot OHKO me with Dragon Claw, and I have Drain Punch, and I could just Drain Punch almost all that health back. So that was the goal there. As he just goes hard into Hitmonchan, which was kind of a weird play, because Hitmonchan's got good special defense, but it doesn't really have the greatest defense. So going hard Hitmonchan, kind of, you know, at the same time, he doesn't really have a switch in the first place, so understandable. I do go for the Drain Punch, as Frustration probably wouldn't have killed if I probably tried to predict it. So, yeah. It does half. Now, here, I sat here for a while thinking, does he even have the Mach Punch? So I decided I'm not going to risk it. That'd be stupid. I have Toxapex sitting right in the back. So I'm going to go into Toxapex to scout for it, and, you know, there it is, the Mach Punch. I was like, I knew it, dude. I knew that Mach Punch was coming out. Toxapex takes little to no damage to that. So he's just going to have to switch out here. I'm just going to go for a Toxic, because I know he's not going to stay in on this Toxapex, as I was expecting this Rotom Wash to come out, as he does. So I'm just going for Toxic, and now this thing is on a timer. And that's really good, because since Latias is down now, I don't really have a switch into this Rotom Wash. So I kind of have to deal with it this way, or get Mega Lopunny in on it somehow while it's low. Because the good thing about this is that Rotom Wash doesn't get reliable recovery. So once it's whittled down, it's whittled down. That's why I don't like using Rotoms personally. Anyway, he's just going to go for the Thunderbolt, so revealing he does have the Thunderbolt. He's got Hydro Pump, Thunderbolt, and Will-O-Wisp. I'm thinking the last move is going to be like Defog or Volt Switch, one of the two. I'm just going to go for Knockoff to decrease his longevity even more. Now, this part of the battle was kind of sketchy because you see I have 86 HP, and T-Bolt's doing a lot of damage. So I have to stay in. I can't really switch into anything. And you'll see Toxapex just barely lives on 6, and I have to recover up, try and Toxic Stall this as much as I can. And you'll see here in a second, I get up to 85, and then with the Black Sludge, I get to 94. Now, mind you, last turn, I went to 6 health from like 8 or something like that. It was lower than 94. So he's just going to go for the Thunderbolt again. I'm thinking I can live this really, barely, and I barely lived this on 2. So I'm saying it's been a roll every turn, so I'm really scared, because if this thing goes down, my Entei switch in is gone, and Lopunny doesn't do the greatest against Entei unless it's chipped down. Toxic is starting to rack up on this Rotom. Now I'm thinking one more roll. I'm deciding I'm not going to risk my Toxapex. I really need it for the Entei. I get regen boost up, so I'll have a lot of health when I come back in. I'm just going to switch to Chandelure because he's not going to go for the Hydro Pump. And the only thing I'm really hoping for is I don't get paralyzed, because then, you know, my Scarf will be intact. And you see here that I do not get paralyzed, and the Rotom Wash goes down. So dodging kind of a bullet there. If this Rotom Wash was like not Toxic Stalled to death, it would have been really scary for my team. He comes back into this Kyurem Black here. Now, I know this thing is Scarf, so I cannot outspeed this thing. So I'm going to switch out and go into my Skarmory. And hopefully he goes for like the Earth Power, which he does, which was really convenient because now I don't have to attack him. I can get my rocks up because the rocks are really going to hurt this Entei as this Entei actually does come in. So, you know, he comes in without rocks up, but his only defogger left can be Landorus, and I don't really see him bringing defog Landorus. He has done it, but with the team comp, I would assume the Rotom was a defogger. So the rocks are here to stay. It's going to do a lot to Entei every time this comes in. Obviously, I need to get the hell out of here because, you know, I don't want to take a Sacred Fire to the face. Toxapex is a switch in every time to this Entei. So here comes the Toxapex. He's probably just going for Sacred Fire, but he does go for the Stone Edge, and it does a little bit of damage, but, you know, it does a Toxapex can handle that fine. Now, I was scared of the Z Bulldoze because I did say earlier that Entei was his Z user, so I'm thinking he could definitely have a Z move on this. So I'm just going to recover up. I know I can live the Z Bulldoze, but I couldn't live any other hit after if I didn't recover. So that was why I recovered on this turn. So I'm going to be up at full health. This Toxapex is being a real pain in the ass to his team, so, you know, gotta love him. So here I'm just going to knock off this thing's Scarf so Lopunny can revenge this thing even easier. As he does go for the Fusion Bolt, I am very, very physically bulky though, so it's not going to do anything. So I knock off here, and I do knock off the Scarf, which does give him free range to choose his move. Now I'm thinking, he knows like I'm really physically bulky. He does have Earth Power to hit me on the special side, which hits more. I wasn't really thinking about that at the time. I'm thinking, oh, he's just going to click Fusion Bolt again. So I switch into my Silvally Steel as he does make a really nice play and clicks Earth Power, and that just does so much damage. So I can't really save the Silvally. Silvally does not have reliable recovery, even though I am pretty fast. This Kyurem Black must be really fast if it's outspeeding Silvally even after the Scarf is gone. So it definitely has a lot of speed. Luckily, my Chandelure is Choice Scarf now, and since his Choice Scarf is gone, I can now revenge this. I didn't go Lopunny because why didn't I go Lopunny? Oh, because Entei. So I just went for the Shadow Ball, and he lets his Kyurem Black go down. So that's pretty nice. It looks pretty even right now. I'm a little worried about this Landorus because I don't know what this Landorus is actually as it comes out. So I'm just going to stay in and see if this thing is Scarfed as well. I doubt it was, but what do you know? It actually is Scarfed. Very luckily, he does lock himself into Stone Edge, which is really good for me because a critical hit didn't matter. Because now I can bring in Mega Lopunny easily, and I could just do so much damage to it. If he locked himself into Earthquake, I would have had to bring my Skarmory out, and Skarmory had less potential compared to this Lopunny. So that sucks for him because now I can just fire off Frustrations as he's just going to sack off his Hitmonchan here. Because, you know, this Hitmonchan ain't living Frustration. And mind you, I do have Quick Attack, so, you know, even if it did live, Quick Attack would beat Mach Punch priority, and that would definitely kill it. So down goes that. Now he goes into Mega Gardevoir. If this Mega Gardevoir is max HP, it is a roll to kill with Frustration, so I was just thinking, in this point of the match, I had to go for it, because Skarmory isn't really a switch-in, and it just kills. So very good for us. He only has the Entei and the Landorus Eye left, and he does bring in the Entei here. Now, I could have just tried finishing off the game, but I wasn't confident that I was going to kill this thing yet. Even with the rocks damage, he's at 76% still. So, I had to switch in. I do have a clean switch in the Toxapex still. And luckily for me, with his last two Pokemon, Toxapex can wall the Entei, and the Skarmory can wall the Landorus. So, I just have to make sure I don't mess this up really badly. He just goes for the Sacred Fire, does a decent chunk, doesn't get a burn, unlucky. But I'm just going to fire off a knockoff, I believe, here, because I want to see what item this Entei has. I'm not sure what it is yet. I haven't really figured it out. But he switches into Landorus, so now I can just knock off this Choice Scarf, so that makes it easier for Lopunny to come in and just clean up. So it's basically just game. I just got to make sure I get my switch-ins cleanly. So he's probably just going to go for Earthquake here or something, so I got to switch into Skarmory. Skarmory is my dedicated switch into this thing. I know it wasn't a Z move, so it can't be like Z whatever, but he does go for the U-turn, which kind of is annoying because he's gonna go back in the Entei, and I have to go out the Toxapex, so it's fine because he's taking rock damage, but it's just kind of the longevity of the game is getting longer. So here, honestly, I almost stayed in here just to, like, you know, stack Skarmory, but I'm thinking, I'm being a little cheeky about it. I want this differential points, so I do have, and eventually now switch back into Toxapex because I know Entei doesn't get like Volt Switch or U-turn. And he's just going to fire off another Sacred Fire here in a second. So there's that. I apologize. I've been talking a lot. Luckily, I haven't been stuttering too much. Lopunny. Toxapex does not get burned. Again, unlucky. Here, I'm just going to reveal the Surf finally, because I don't think he's going to switch in Landorus on a Surf. or a Scald. Well, it could be Scald, but I have surfed this game. It does more damage, and I didn't really need to burn anything for the most part. So Entei's going to take a lot of damage. Actually survives this hit, which is, you know, amazing. I know he doesn't have the bulldoze at this point, so I'm just going to knock off. I know knockoff kills. I'm just really curious to see what item this Entei is, because I have actually no idea what this is. It wouldn't be Z move, because he would have popped it by now. So knockoff goes off. He didn't get a burn any of those times. I feel really bad. Not that it really mattered. But it turns out he had a choice band, so I'm like, oh, okay. That's why I kept going for Sacred Fire and didn't switch it up. So he's down to his Landorus. Now I'm going to be very cheeky about this. I really want Lopunny to get this kill, and I kind of want the differential. I'm assuming he's going to go for Earthquake here. Since his Scarf is knocked off, he can just go for whatever move. I could end this with Skarmory, but I'm thinking he's going to go for Stone Edge on the Skarmory. Easy switch on the Lopunny. And even then, Lopunny can tank an Earthquake unless it's like a crit. And even if Lopunny did get critted here, so it just so happens, with like an Earthquake, Skarmory can clean up the game. But he goes for Stone Edge. He misses the attack. It didn't really matter. And I'm going to go for Frustration, and that is the game. So that's GG the Poise. Again, go make sure to check out his links in the description below. The links that we are sent, I don't think his Twitch is in there. I'll personally link his Twitch in the description below. This is going up a day late, so I'm also going to plug his side of the view in the description below. So make sure to go check out the description. It's very important this week. But anyway, we do end our 2-game losing streak, and we finally pick up a win, going up to 6-3. We're looking pretty good for playoffs. I just don't have to. Hopefully, I don't choke. So that is GG again. Thank you guys all for watching so much. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like on the video. It really helps out. I'm gonna get the heck out of here. Have a fantastic day, YouTube.